Excellent. Hello, guys. We're back. Apologies for the issues. Neon, have you got the draft law link for one? And two, can we show it? And two, can we show it on stream?
It is shown on stream right now.
Okay, good. My stream must just be a little bit behind, but we are into the draft. Volibear is the first pick for X7 Academy, opting to switch over to the blue side for this second game. The Zeri not hitting the ban list and is going to be picked up for Roykia. So he is going to be allowed and enabled to potentially repeat his performance from game one. What support will partner that Zeri is yet to be unveiled, but I'm sure we will find out within the next few seconds what are Invul going to take. It is going to be the Zeri Yuumi, so another bot lane run back here for Invul.
Yeah, never change a running system, I guess. There's not a lot for them to change. It has been working fine in the first game. It's probably going to work fine in the second game as well. The bot lane of F7 Ascent had difficulties answering it, and the Sona pick, of course, didn't really help there.
No, and it's going to be a Xayah as the answer to the Zeri. Not 100% sure on that matchup.
It's fine for both sides. You don't get any room to overstep, and of course Xayah has a little more room to make plays due to her Blade Core route, especially paired with a Nautilus, which now
that is a very aggressive bot lane.
Yeah, that signals that there's a lot of aggression to be expected from the X7 Ascent bot lane.
Yes, we're going to see a different look from the X7 bot lane here. A lot more in your face, a lot more down to throw hands and get aggressive. And it's going to be the Lilia pickup for Invul here. Now, from what I remember, from what I understand, Lilia is a bit of a flex pick in general right now, I think.
Yeah, it's been used in top lane a lot in recent patches. Especially since the durability update, since champions on top lane get a lot tankier through levels and just amplify their tankiness over what has been there from the get-go anyways. So Lilia with percentage health damage, percentage max health damage that is, and of course a lot of sustain, has pretty good tools to fight those guys on the top lane, and will most likely just try to bully a top laner into giving up pretty early, into giving up resources, and going into the team fights weaker than necessary. Lilia still a pretty good initiator for team fights, a pretty good champion to control team fights with her lilting lullaby, and therefore a strong pick for the side of Invul.
Yes, definitely. We see bans coming through for the second phase. Veigar Gangplank from the side of Invul, Anivia and Yone taken away by X7. So really targeting Erebin in the mid lane, wanting to narrow down that pool, especially if you look at the Lilia, because as we mentioned, can be played both top and jungle, but they know a mid laner has not been picked. So trying to knock away a few of the more comfortable champions for Aruban, but we see action locked in.
That's an exciting pick. That's definitely a pick I like, and that also opens the possibility to go for magic damage top laner or jungler on the side of Invul, because Akshan brings a lot of physical damage to the table, brings a lot of burst to the table, and the only weakness is that he doesn't have particularly high DPS in the later stages of the game, but they have Zeri to cover that off, so it's a stable team comp in every single discipline they need to cover.
And the Talia now grabbed for X7. The action going to be interesting. Going to be interesting to see, obviously, with the revival mechanic, if any of those members of the Invul lineup are getting caught out of position. In the later stages, they could swiftly be brought back to life and continue to influence the fights, although that's going to be Volibear jungle, Talia mid, Camille top, right?
I do think so.
Okay, and if that Malphite is locked in, which I kind of hope it is, because that would rock. Yeah, I mean, Malphite into Xayah. Malphite into X7 really doesn't feel that great. And no, it's going to be the Jarvan instead, so that is going to be a Lilia going in towards the top lane. The front line from Invul a lot weaker, a lot less bulky than the front line they had in Game 1.
Definitely, yes. That is pretty easy to see. Lilia is not particularly strong on the front line. Doesn't have really tanky builds anymore to her disposal. No. And that's definitely gonna hurt Invul if X7 find a really good engage here. They have the potential to find a good engage with the Depth Charge and the Dredge line of Nautilus, with the Stormbringer of Volibear, and they also have extremely good follow-up with the Blade Caller, with the Leah combo, and with the hookshot of Camille. So there's a lot of control on the side of X7 Ascent, and that is really calm to be feared.
Yeah, so shall we get some voting going in Twitch chat, guys? Who do you think is going to win? There is a live prediction. It's got about 5 minutes left on it, so if you have an opinion, if you want to win yourself some channel points, get down there. Is it going to be an Invul win, and are they going to round out the series 2-0? Or have X7 got what it takes to even things out and share the spoils, and continue on their ascent up the table?
Chat says Lofty wins.
Okay, interesting. Lofty wins, considering, you know, Lofty's not in the game, but sure, I respect it. Lofty has already won. Yeah, ADC diff, I guess. And we are going to get draft now remade in the client. Where was I going with this? I don't remember. My brain is kind of dying a little bit.
You probably wanted someone to talk about the Akshan pick again, because we haven't seen Akshan in a while.
I do love Akshan. I think the revival mechanic is super unhealthy for League of Legends, but I'm here for it. Because, you know, some people just want to watch the world burn and want to cast 60-minute bangers, and I'm one of those people, you know. I do quite enjoy watching the world burn. It's quite fun. And this could be an absolute banger. Who do we think has won draft?
It's quite difficult to say, because with Lilia and Akshan you have some specialist champions who have a slightly different job than the usual champions on their role, on their lanes. But I'm thinking lane advantages should be with X7's bottom mid lane. And also to some extent with the top lane, because Camille can set up ganks pretty easily with the hookshot, with the Hextech ultimatum, and unlock the Lilian place. Slayer has to play around that, has to be ultra careful, and has to keep a vision of Love Hogan, otherwise he's just gonna get picked off that top lane, and therefore X7 should have an advantage if they use the potential pace their team comp has.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a lot of that, like you mentioned, will come through Zwiss and Tabby. That Xayah Nautilus is going to be able to be very aggressive. Potentially even look for outright 2v2 kills onto this Zeri Yuumi. With Love Hogan as well on the Volibear, potentially exacerbating that fact. Although, don't count out Pinterest turning around the 3v3s. But guys, that is the drafts remade in client. We are going to have to wait out the timer because, you know, again, don't want to give anyone a competitive advantage. Not going to leave the option of someone being sneaky. We might be watching on Twitch, but we don't want anyone being as sneaky as Twitch.
You don't like Twitch in general.
That's your opinion. My Neon does not express the opinions of Invul Esports Ltd. That's all I'm saying.
This champion.
Fair enough. I can't say I'm a massive fan of Twitch either, and I'm glad that we're not seeing Twitch in this game.
I'm traumatized by a Twitch mid lane.
But we are gonna see action. And Action, I feel like we keep going back to Action.
For a
But
reason.
I think the champion is so interesting just purely because of the revival possibilities. And after his performance in Game 1, I'm really excited to see what Erebin can potentially manage in this second game. Although I think kind of flexing on the Talia will have quite a few tools to be able to shut this action down. You think of the rocks. I can't remember what the ability's called off the top of my head. But the one that like cripples you when you dash over it. You know the one I mean?
Yeah,
Is it Hurry?
would have
Hurry.
to look for the specific spell name.
I think it's like something. It's like something like messed up ground. I can't remember what the exact name is. It's not messed up ground, but it's something to do with the ground. Unraveled Earth. Yes, thank you, chat. God, look at us. Look at us doing the thing. But we are nearly in game. About a minute 50 to go. And yeah, I mean both of these mid laners, Carniflexin and Arubin, they've got pretty good roaming potential. You know, like the Talia enabling her to travel large distances very, very quickly and cut off the escape routes, manipulate movement paths of the enemy champions. But Arubin on the action does have the stealth. And we were talking about people being sneaky. Action is one of those champions that can be very, very sneaky. And if Arubin can get rolling, it could be dangerous. We saw his performance on the Yone in the previous game. Although, to be fair, you guys saw all of his performance on the Yone. Me and Neon only saw about half of it. But it will be interesting to see what he can get done on this action.
Definitely so. I think invisibility, stealth in general, is still one of the strongest tools in League of Legends. It gives you a momentum of surprise, which always works if the enemy doesn't have the proper intel. And if Rakia, Agates, and Pinterest manage to keep the map clear of control wards, it's gonna be a super strong tool for Erebin, and most likely one that can influence fights before they even have begun.
Yeah, it will be intriguing. And we are going to start loading into game very, very shortly, ladies and gentlemen. Just got to get through the loading screens now, and we will be able to start bringing you full commentary of the second game, which I for sure am very excited to see how this one pans out, especially to see how the players on the side of X7 do bounce back. We might need to take a moment to quickly sync up the streams just to make sure we are casting in time so one of us isn't massively ahead. So yeah, how are you ready, Neon?
I am absolutely ready. I just need the spectator tool to actually work.
Would be helpful. I'm seeing a couple of X7 wins in the chat. The predictions say otherwise. 84% on the channel point betting in the favor of Invul. That doesn't necessarily mean that there are more people that think Invul's going to win. It just means that the people who think Invul are going to win have been in the chat more because they've got more channel points. I think this is going to be a really, really close game. I think this is going to be a really interesting game. And yeah, Lofty slammed 5 big ones down on the table. Neon, what time in the replay are you at, my friend?
Live timer.
Live timer.
25,
I think
26,
we are
27.
Yep,
28.
we are all synced up. We are good to go. Let's do this, guys. Invul Esports versus X7 Ascent, game number 2. And we are on this, I am beyond ready. Once again, actually, Invul. We saw this from Invul Lotus. Both support and jungle dropping the early wards from their trinket and backing to pick up sweeping lenses.
The only thing that's vastly different is the location of the ward near mid lane. We have that little ward right here, placed in the river bush, rather than the river entrance of the red side jungle, which of course is a small difference in execution from Invul compared to Invul Lotus, and also gives slightly different information. It won't cover an invade like here on the bot side.
So we see a late invade coming in from Lotus. Flash forwards from Tabby, going to be answered by Roikia. But X7 and Lovhogan going to be able to start off on this blue buff. Diving forward now from Aruban, looking for a bit of a trade in the mid lane. Grabs the double auto attack, but takes a couple of stones to the back of the head. We might see some vertical jungling in the early stages of this game.
I think we should see vertical
Hook
jungling.
goes wide from Tabby, but the root comes down. Glacial Augment coming through, and the exhaust instantly thrown out onto Roikia. Damage ending up in favor of Invul, even with the exhaust burn. So combat summoner advantage in the favor of Invul. They do have the extra combat summoner as well from the Yuumi. Obviously, Yuumi not a champion that typically takes flash.
Doesn't need to, I guess. I guess we'll just stick to Roikia and rely on his flash to be up soon again.
I mean, when you have a champion that's as mobile as Zeri, does the Zeri even really need flash?
I think so. Still a marksman. Marksmen do tend to be quite vulnerable and squishy. And despite Zeri building Titanic Hydra and some really tanky items at some point, I think having that flash makes being mobile a lot better, a lot easier, and surviving in lanes is also a lot more trivial than it would be without a flash.
Very fair enough. The seismic shove just going wide there for kind of flexing in the mid lane, but Tabby is here looking for an early advantage. Hex Flash being channeled, but I don't think it's going to matter. Aruban just walking away. And we saw, Roikia and Aegis conceding a lot of the early pressure in that bot lane, as they probably should be. As we've touched on already multiple times. Xayah Nautilus, very aggressive bot lane duo. And Roikia and Aegis respecting the aggression. Taking their time, farming up, level 3, just dinged. And that Prowling Projectile doesn't collide with anything. That could cause a potential step forward, but no. Lovhogan going to go for the bot side crab. Top crab already taken by Pinterest, and the junglers fully mirroring each other's paths on opposite sides of the map.
Both Lovhogan and Pinterest don't really have a reason to look for a confrontation in the jungle. Looking for a 1v1 would be quite deadly for Pinterest actually, because both Conan Flexen and Cormac can build up some lane pressure.
Speaking of Pinterest, Cormac under fire does manage to hookshot and wall dive himself to safety though. Slayer just a little bit of damage, and that Lilia, I don't know why I said that so weirdly, Lilia trading very, very nicely on to the Camille. Not a matchup I could say with any kind of confidence that I know how it's supposed to work. But this is also really nice from X7 here in the bot lane, letting the wave push, forcing this Zeri Yuumi to step forward. Roikia still flashless, but there are full summoners available for the Invul bot lane. They're not going to need them. The dash over the wall, carrying Roikia to safety. No summoners necessary. And meanwhile, Slayer is poking away at Cormac in the top lane.
Cormac still has the benefit of doubt in any engages, hits the hookshot now.
And he is on top of the Lilia now. The tactical sweep coming through. Kiting backwards is the Invul bot lane though, as the Volibear does find his way in. But quite a slow, subdued early game almost. I mean, subdued compared to the games we've casted already this evening. No kills at the 5-minute mark. I don't think we've had a game go like this yet. But the root is going to come through now onto Roikia. Cleanse, not going to be burned, but the heal does come through. Now kiting away. The cleanse comes down. No flash available for this Zeri. The Zeri very, very vulnerable. But the flash from Jarvan into the Ultra Shock laser. Lots of slowing, lots of knock up. The Seismic Shove comes through now onto Pinterest. Root from the Blade Caller, and this is going to be first blood going over to the Talia. Flash forward for the Root onto the Zeri, and that's a second. Akshan finds one though, and that is now Roikia revived, and that Yuumi dash looked way too long.
That was kind of illegal. Ruben doing just what he's supposed to do, revives his bot laner and his jungler. Pinterest and Roikia don't really lose a lot of time due to their death. Not as much as they should have, at least. They get the trade back on Tabby, which is nice. Tabby also getting one of the kills, so the revive comes through, which is really important. And
a little bit unfortunate that one of those kills went over to the Nautilus, you have to think. But very, very nice that the first blood went to the Talia for the side of X7.
Definitely so. Current Flexen, especially with the Tear of the Goddess, is looking to scale pretty hard into the later stages of the game. And getting a little helping hand through the first blood.
Dragon has been started up here by X7. Invul are in the area to contest. It is 4v3 right now. Zwiss not in the area. Seismic Shove gonna go wide. Pinterest early smite does manage to secure it. It looked like the Unraveled Earth there was about to pop and take that one away. But the swag flag secures the bag for the Jarvan. Mountain Drake for Invul.
That's also an important one.
Yeah, single Mountain Drake. Single Mountain Drake's very good.
Gives you slightly increased resistances, which are pretty good for the Jarvan especially. And of course for Slayer, who's gonna build some armor, who's gonna do the frontline duties to some extent. Of course, Lilia's not a full-scale frontliner.
We do see an engage in the bot lane. Blade Caller catches onto Roikia. The Zoomies going to keep the Zeri alive. And is the move speed? No, not quite enough. Erubin is on the way, though. Not going to fully commit to the roam. And this aggression from the X7 bot lane is unrelenting. It is going to continue, and it has netted Zwiss another kill.
Well, Tabby is playing as aggressive. Can is finding more and more hooks, and the top laners
ultimatum sleep coming through on to the top jungle duo, but it's not going to be enough. Oh, the Seismic Shove knocking Pinterest back in. Cataclysm's thrown down though onto the Volley Bear, and the storm is called. Double kill for the Camille, and Erubin can't quite get the revive. Now diving forward with the hookshot wall dive, finding the invisible Akshan. Yuumi is here. The Unraveled Earth going to knock Yuumi out of her You and Me. Potentially going to be the kill here on to Eagles, but no. Escaping on about 100 health. Hookshot will dive forward now, and Erubin in trouble. Can't quite keep him alive with the Zoomies. And now Eagles will play with... What you imagine Eagles will pay here with his life, with the final price. But no, the Yuumi going to pick up Carniflexin.
That was a little too ambitious from Carniflexin, definitely. But it's also not too bad that he gives that kill away to Yuumi. Yuumi is not going to be the main damage dealer for her team, of course. Of course, the heals are going to be annoying, but...
Roikia, the Hex Flash into the hook, going to land again from Tabby. The Lightning Crush, though, is going to get thrown down, and this is a lot of damage here from the Zeri. Featherstorm is thrown down, and there goes the Cleanse, dodging away from the Exhaust. The Root coming through. Ultra Shock Laser not quite going to connect, and there is the Depth Charge. This is going to be Roikia going down. Egit's potentially going to follow, but no. They saw what he did to the last champion that dove him, and Egit's is going to be allowed to walk away. Hookshot will dive forward now from Cormac, and this game is accelerating at one hell of a pace all of a sudden.
Definitely so, and Eagles just pulling off another beautiful move by not basing, running to his bot lane to Roikia and keeping him alive. Otherwise he would have died immediately to Zwiss, which wouldn't have been very advantageous. The dive from Olaf Hogan comes through and costs Roikia's life, but that was a different situation. It could have been avoided by just staying under the turret, trying to keep the wave off and playing it safe. But Roikia, not knowing that Olaf Hogan is there, decides to play it and almost has success with it.
Ruben looking for some damage onto Carniflexin. But yeah, like you say, unfortunate for Eagles and Rukia, but they did nearly pick up Swiss. They did nearly make that a 1-for-1. And had they taken out the Xayah, that fight could potentially look a lot different if it's just Zeri Yuumi versus Nautilus Volibear.
Definitely so. Slater's now going for the Warden's Mail. I believe he's going for Frozen Hearts. And that will take a lot of attack speed away from Cormac, from Swiss. It's gonna play beautifully into that team comp. Of course, the true damage of Cormac is still gonna burn through that.
Ooh, Rubin's caught out, stunned up in his own jungle, flashes away from the hook though. Tabby not quite hitting the mark with that one. Hookshot will dive forward, but it's Slayer with the help of the turret that is winning these trades in the bot lane. Ultra Shock Laser going to slow down Love Hogan as well. Invul just fighting for some defensive vision in their jungle. Gold lead only 2,500 as of right now, so not the end of the world, you would have to say. With the Zeri, if this Invul draft is allowed to stall out the game, you would imagine their teamfight potency will only grow. Like we mentioned earlier, X7 need to kind of keep the game snowballing almost for them to have their best chances of winning. Obviously, it will be winnable the whole way through, but I feel like the onus is more on X7 as Pinterest looks for an engage here onto Tabby. Rukia and Eagles now in a position to follow up, and the Lightning Crash comes through. Final Chapter is thrown out, and the Featherstorm does come down. The Stormbringer traps Love Hogan in versus 3, but the Flash is going to carry him to safety. Action not quite able to snipe out any of the kills, and nobody dies. Ultra Shock Laser does not find Love Hogan. It is, however, going to be a dragon for the side of X7 Ascent.
One thing that surprised me is that Love Hogan didn't use his Stormbringer to immediately go over the wall and assist Tabby. Tabby had to flash out before Love Hogan went in. And so first a Nautilus against the world and then a Volibear against the world. Both of them do not get to pose any kill threat and therefore don't get anything out of it. Of course, they secure the dragon because Pinterest is just dropping a little too low.
It's Slayer getting jumped on again here by Cormac, and this Camille really having a lot of success here in the top lane, already with that Divine Sunderer completed. 3 kills to 0. Pinterest gonna look to get his Zeri a little bit more accelerated though, bringing the Rift Herald down to the bot lane. I heard you like speed, because there's another Cloud Soul here. Teleport comes through from Talia, just gonna be to zone away the bot lane of Invul and keep that Herald only at 2 plates. Not going to be allowed any more than that as Cormac continues to chip away on the top side. Threat, though, on to the Invul bot lane now. Rukia and Eagles, all summoners are available. The Seismic Shove, though, is going to land the cleanse, carrying Rukia just out of range, dodging away from the Blade Caller. Hook barely misses, and the Zeri survives.
That was a close call. Rukia also pretty conservative with his flash. It paid off in the end, but it could have gotten him killed if there was a little more decisiveness on the side of X7 Ascent.
Almost. Yeah. No, but the gold lead seems to have stabilized a little bit here, as we are going to see an engage hit on the top side. The Hextech Ultimatum is thrown down. Cormac finds Slayer 4-0-0 now on the Camille. That early triple kill really doing wonders for Cormac, and we are going to see a fight now in the mid lane. Seismic Shove on to Pinterest. Goes in with the Cataclysm. Is going to get taken down. Now the final chapter is sent through, though. Tabby caught between a rock and a hard place. That's a Zeri, and you are not going to be able to get away, my friend. Rukia going to chase that one down, and Tabby going to fall. Zeri on the board now with her first kill. And Rukia picking up a bit of a freebie there.
Yeah, if there's one person in the game that you do not want to get back into the game, it's Rukia. Because if he gets some more gold, if he can manage to keep the pace...
Connect onto Carniflexin. The Lilting Lullaby is available and is going to get thrown down by Slayer here. Can he look for a potential kill onto the Talia? He is going to, and he is going to find it. Loses the tower, but grabs himself a little bit of gold. And now we see the bot lane going onto Swiss. Rukia and Eagles galvanized with a little bit of confidence from that kill picked up for Rukia.
For a reason, yeah. Swiss dropping quite low, has the Gale Force available. So he can stay pretty safe. He can dash back to his turret if in need. And the next skirmish...
The hookshot would have catches Pinterest, but he doesn't see him in the fog. Oh, he couldn't see him in the bush. And, oh my god, Rikia, stop. Man, that's a bit... That feels bad to be Tabby. Doesn't even get the flash there out of the Zeri.
Swiftly done from Rikia. It feels like he has nerves of steel in this game. And so far he's doing a fine job. He's chasing the Zaya off the lane again. And we're gonna see if Invul can do the same good job on top.
The wall dive going to stun up the Akshan. Akshan gonna fall after Pinterest is already taken down. And it's just the Lilia versus 3. But Slayer cannot find anyone. Kind of flexing, picking that one up. And now the final chapter going to be read by Eagles. But the Featherstorm from Swiss going to keep him alive on the dive. This Invul bot lane not quite able to find it. But they are going to look potentially for a redive here. Yuumi taking the aggro. Old Shock Laser goes wide. But the Lightning Crash comes through. Roikia with the flash as well. And that's going to be one picked up. Teleport in from Cormac. Diving now on to the Zeri. And I think Roikia is just going to give his life here for the tower. No, Eagles keeping his ADC alive. Tabby now in the area. Flash, depth charge, glacial augment, stun. And that is a very dead Zeri. And you imagine the cat will go splat just like that. And Cormac is going to secure that one. A double kill for the Camille. Very, very much ahead now. 7-0-2 for this Camille. Cormac is terrifying. And kind of flexing. Going to find another one here potentially in the jungle. Pinterest dropping low. Hook's going to get dodged away from. And this gold lead's now 6,000.
And the difficult part is that Cormac can just do on the map whatever he wants. He's too fed. He should have Titanic Hydra by now. If he opts into it instead of a Ravenous Hydra. He's gonna be super tanky. Yep, that's a Titanic Hydra. And he's not just gonna be super tanky, he's also gonna deal a ton of damage. And that's not something that Invul can answer.
From Carniflexen though, onto this top lane tower. Tower falls and Carniflexen is stuck between an Akshan and a Lilia. Gonna go to sleep and the Zhonya's comes through. But you have to imagine that the Talia is not long for the world. Erubin collecting on that one. And they should both be able to get out of here before the Volibear can really do anything. No, never mind. That is a Predator. That is a Chem Tank popped. And that is one very, very speedy Love Hogan. Trying to catch up onto the fight, chomps down onto Slayer, but Slayer managing to survive kite away for a little bit longer, get some chip damage down on to Love Hogan. Potentially going to be turned around on though by Erubin. No, the Akshan not quite with the damage, and Swiss going to pick that one up, just barely keeping his jungler alive.
Yeah, the exhaust from Swiss definitely doing its job here, and Love Hogan also shields himself with a Sky Splitter, which helps in that regard. Ruben doing the best he possibly can, but at least it's a catch onto Carniflexen. And that
objective bounty picked up though. And
another one.
I mean, it's gonna take a lot of hopium to think that Invul are really going to be able to make a strong comeback in this game from this position. It really is looking pretty dire at the moment. But the final chapter coming down onto Carniflexen, a lovely Ultra Shock Laser going to set this one up, and Roikia is going to collect. Finds the Talia a little bit overextended, a lovely little slow. Sets up the Yuumi, but now Slayer is going to be the one being slain. The Hextech Ultimatum going to come through, and he is locked up with nowhere to go. Cormac, as you say, Neon, doing whatever he wants to on the map at this point. You're going to need at least 2 people, potentially 3, on the side of Invul to shut this Camille down.
It's also difficult to say if there's an actual way to shut the Camille down, because you have a CC chain on the side of X7 Ascent, but you don't really have a reliable CC chain on the side of Invul.
Yeah, Pinterest, Rikia, and Eagles are going to try and shut this Camille down, though. The Cataclysm is available. Not going to be needed, I don't think, but it is going to come down. Zeri now locked in with the Camille, and half of Pinterest's health bar just got deleted. But Roikia collects the shutdown. Why has that Camille still got a 700 gold shutdown? There we go. It updates to 250. But 1,000 gold in the back pockets of the Zeri? That's brilliant.
That also makes Rakia the second richest person in the game after Cormac.
That doesn't surprise me that Cormac is the richest.
Neither does
Really,
it surprise
for
me.
some reason, you know, it doesn't surprise me that Cormac is the richest player in this game. Pinterest, though, going to dive forward with the flag and drag. Goredrinker healing him up massively, and now Rakia is going to get dove on. Dives over the wall, though, with the... I don't know what the Talia W? Zeri W is called. I can't remember. No, the dash. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. No one died other than Pinterest, who dove into 4 people.
Spark Surge, apparently.
Sparks? Okay, yeah. God damn. Rakia, though, pops the Lightning Rush going, turning things around on to Tabby, but is going to get locked up by the Volley Bear, trying to kite away. The shield bow is procced, and Rakia does fall. Egit's also going to be sacrificed here, but Erubin and Slayer are in the area. Slayer picks up one onto Carniflex, and that's Erubin. Sorry, my eyes do not work. Get me some glasses. Specsavers, where's the sponsorship? But Erubin diving forward, trying to find Tabby. Not going to be successful, and now it all falls to Slayer. Can he live up to his namesake? 4 members of X7 Ascent on this Baron. Pinterest is also alive. Could potentially look for some kind of shenanigans. But it looks like Invul actually just wanting to play for the objective bounties here. Not wanting to risk anything. Not wanting to dive into 4 people unnecessarily. And Slayer going to catch 2 with the Swirling Seed. And just back himself away. Runs into Cormac, though. Objective bounty claimed in the mid lane by Pinterest. Oh, the Hextech ultimatum beautifully timed to follow Slayer over the wall. And Cormac is having some fun this game.
Definitely so. I mean, I gotta admit, I would also enjoy it if I could just murder a Lilia over and over again.
Yep, yeah, with my Cho'Gath ult on Q, you know.
Precisely.
Oh, we are seeing Love Hogan diving forward, though, onto Pinterest. Tabby in the area. The Unraveled thrown down, but the flag and drag carries Pinterest to safety. Dragon potentially going to be started up here by X7, but going to find the stun on to Erubin instead. Weird posturing around this Drake, with X7 now actually opting to go up the mid lane. Invul going to start to rush this Drake, looking for the bounty. It's going to be secured, and they're going to look for the fight now. The final chapter and the lightning crash come through. Zhonya's Hourglass popped by Carniflex in, and it's going to be Tabby who is sacrificed for the mid lane. For the mid laner of X7, but no, Rakia looking to chase down and secure more. But at what cost? Egit's picks up Carniflex, and mid lane inhibitor falls for Invul. And 2 kills and a Drake for half of your base. I know what side of that trade I'm taking. Slayer finds the Drowsy, though, and they could find more kills here, potentially. Very, very sleepy Xayah, very, very sleepy Volley Bear. But no, nothing more to come of it. Unless Rakia and Egit's can find this flank of all flanks. It doesn't even matter, because Erubin finds the Xayah, is traded back in response, though the Blade Caller damage is just too much. Rakia vaults over the wall with the Spark Surge, and Love Hogan going to try and find Slayer. Not going to be enough, though, and it's another shutdown in the back pockets of Rakia.
Yeah, Love Hogan healing for a crap ton with that one Bear Slap, but he's not going to be able to survive that. They have overextended. X7 Ascent is giving away an advantage. Combine the shutdowns given away in that fight, which were 2 to be precise, with the objective shutdown that has been awarded through the Cloud Dragon. That minimizes the gold advantage, the gold deficit from Invul Esports down to a little more than 5k.
It's about 5.5k, but it's been holding at 5.5k, you know? X7 got the Baron, and at the point of taking the Baron, the gold lead was about 6,500. So during the duration of the Baron buff, the lead has dropped by about 1,000 gold. That has been helped by Invul picking up a couple of shutdowns, a couple of objective bounties. And as this game continues to drag on longer and longer, the gold lead will obviously start to mean less. And if Invul can keep themselves in the conversation, they don't have to be winning every team fight. They just have to be finding ways to survive. If they can continue to do that, then potentially we could see a comeback in the later stages of this game. Final inhibitor turret, though, going to fall for X7. And X7 do not want to let this game get to that point. They want to be decisive. They want to strike back. Lilting Lullaby thrown down, but a beautiful Feather Storm from Zwiss going to get him away from the fight. Blade Caller called through, catching onto no one on a slow. Tags Cormac. Ultra Shock Laser, more poke onto the Camille, and the Lightning Crash is now thrown down. Stunned up Roikia, though, not going to be able to charge forward as Pinterest dives into the hook, cancelling the knockup, but massive damage from the Ultra Shock Laser. Roikia is dealing so much damage in these fights, but no one's going to die. Redemption's coming through, and there's just too much healing coming out of Yuumi at this point.
Yeah, Sustain is kicking in. The options for Grievous Wounds on the side of X7 Ascent are very spare.
There's already a Thornmail on Tabby.
There's a Thornmail on Tabby, but he cannot CC the entire team, except if they just line up perfectly for the depth charge. Yep. There's also a healing reduction on Cormac with Execution is calling, but that's just gonna sit there and be incomplete until the end of the game, I think.
I would quite like to see an Executioners on Zwiss, to be honest. If we're looking at this game from an X7 point of view, I think Xayah with the feathers and just with how the champion functions in team fights, I feel like Xayah will really, really be able to apply that Grievous Wounds easily. But just completing the Infinity Edge there for Zwiss, obviously the priority. Pinterest, though, getting tagged by a hook, and Love Hogan in the area, flash away from the Jarvan, going to carry him off to safety. Blast Cone's going to get popped. And X7 setting up for the Baron that will be spawning in about 40 seconds' time.
Picking up on that Mortal Reminder discussion, I think Mortal Reminder is too bad of an item to...
Ooh, Pinterest could be caught with Baron just about to come up. The Guardian Angel is going to be taken down. And I don't think there's a way Invul get Pinterest out here, no. Not even enough time for him to use that Gore Drinker.
Yeah, I guess Pinterest had to take that fight before it could talk about the situation, but at least Flexen seems to avoid it, and that is definitely a pick that gives X7 Ascent a lot more control over this Baron. They will set up now. They will give away the dragon in return.
Yep, looks like Invul just going to want the bounty. Not too bothered by losing the Baron. It is going to mean the next 3 minutes of defending for Invul are going to be incredibly, incredibly difficult. Just like game 1 for Invul Lotus. And we saw what happened when Hydra's got Baron. So we're not going to count anything out here. As bad as it looks for the side of Invul, you know, anything could happen. Roikia is very, very fed. Not quite as well fed as Cormac, but, you know, that's besides the point. Ultra Shock Lasers do so much damage, man. Look at that. How do you play against that? Final Chapter and the Lightning Crash, though, both thrown down, and Roikia is under fire. Hextech Ultimatum going to come down, as is the Seismic Shove, and Roikia does fall. Cormac is going to pick that one up. It's a second kill for the Camille on the fight. Double onto the Yuumi. Jarvan trying to flag and drag away, and everyone is on retreat. Zwiss finds Pinterest, and it's now 2 versus 4 to finish out the fight. Can Erubin and Slayer pull off a miracle? It does not look like it. 4 versus 1, but the revive comes through from Erubin, only onto Pinterest, though. And you don't imagine the Jarvan can defend here versus 3.
Can at least try. Is there any miracle play to be expected?
No. No, one quick seismic shove. One quick seismic shove coming through from Flexen would beg to differ. It's going to be X7 taking game 2. They are going to begin their ascent up the league table with a 1-1 draw here versus Invul. And to be honest, much cleaner game, this one, from X7. But a draw, not really what either team wants.
Not entirely. I do not think that Invul have played the best they could. X7 have made a big step forwards in this game too, especially considering they have just made plays around getting Roikia out in the late game, especially in that last fight. Separating him from his own team with the Weaver's Wall has been an absolute perfect strike right there, and it gave them the win. It decided the game for them, but they have also kept the pace high during the entire game, earning them a win. Especially Cormac is to be mentioned here, because he has terrorized the side lane, and everywhere he went, you had to send at least 3 people, or you would lose one.
Yeah, Cormac was imperious in that second game, that early triple kill, like you mentioned, really setting the Camille up for success. But that is going to be everything for this evening, I think. I don't think we have anything else. I don't think we have anything else planned. As far as I'm aware, we were only going to be doing 4 games today. We have now finished our 4th game. But yeah, 3-1 on the day for Invul. Not a bad return in the slightest in terms of actual game score. Unfortunate we couldn't see the 2-2-0s. But I think a lot of positives can be taken by both sides from this game. I think both X7 and Invul, whilst they will both be frustrated that they weren't able to claim the 2-0, I think it will be a lot of learning that can be taken from this series by both teams into how they evolve going on into the rest of the split.
Definitely so. There's a lot of positives to pick out for both teams, I think, and those are mostly spread across the board. Game 1 for Invul, Game 2 for X7, and they have shown they're capable of taking on this league, and both having a win today, both getting out wins in general, is definitely something helpful. Of course, it's not nice to be 1-3. It's also not nice to be 2-4, as the case is for X7 Ascent. But there's always a baseline that you have to take, and that baseline has been reached for both. Both are definitely capable of placing much higher, and they will show that in the next few games.
Yeah, and once again, we'd just like to extend our GGs to both teams. Thank you to X7. You guys look like a very, very formidable team. And we look forward to seeing what you guys are going to do going on into the split. As for the Invul boys, we will be back with the next game of the season. I can't tell you when, because off the top of my head, I don't know it. It will be someone here bringing the cast. I don't know who. At this point, we're still trying to work out schedules and everything. But yeah, I think for today, I don't know about you, Neon, but I'm pretty hungry.
Same here.
We have been casting for the last 3.5 hours at this point, pretty much. So I think we deserve a break. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Those of you that joined us for all 4 games today, you guys are insane. Like I hope you guys at least went and got some food or something, even though we couldn't. But yeah, unless is there anything else that we have to touch on, or am I forgetting anything? I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I don't know what.
Probably a swift plug, because you can you get all the announcements about our next streams on the Discord server. So just type !Discord in the chat to see the Discord link and to join our Discord and to get all the news.
! Discord in the chat to go and keep up to date with everything Invul, and the socials, they are linked below at Invul Esports and Invulnerables Esports on YouTube. Neon, if you would like a couple of moments on the stage to promote yourself, you are more than welcome to do so.
Yeah, that was my first English cast ever. My name is Neon Carlot. I'm usually casting in German for the for OVG Esports in the University League in Germany, and for various organizations in the German Prime League. I'm also playing with my own team with the Automaton Enjoyers in Div 7.18 in the Prime League, and we're currently standing 4-4. If you want to hear more about that, I might share some news on my Instagram page or on my Twitter, despite my Twitter actually being very inactive, so don't follow me there. Follow me on Instagram instead. I'm also trying to get back into streaming once my schedule allows it again, maybe within the next few months. And I would happily reappear on the broadcast at Invulnerables, because this organization really puts some effort into their teams, into the games, into the into the production, and I enjoy my stay here.
Yeah, well, once again, Neon, thank you very much for joining me. As far as I'm aware, that's going to be absolutely everything from us tonight. So again, guys, thank you all so much for watching, coming out and supporting both of the teams, or all four of the teams. I don't know why I'm saying both. We did cast 2 separate best of 2s today. So well played, GG, well played to both X7 and Hydra's Esports. Thank you all for the series. Thank you all for your time. I've been Enix. This has been Neon, and hopefully we will see you all back here for the next games. Like we said, follow us on the socials if you want updates as to when they will be. But otherwise, peace out.